Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hello, everybody. It's episode 40 of Screw the Commute podcast. This is my Monday training session, and this one is on Craigslist and other buying apps. Now, would you buy a 140-pound dummy for 85% off? Well, I did. All right. You'll hear about that and how to save tens of thousands of dollars when buying things for your business. And no, I didn't say I hired a 140-pound dummy. I said I bought a 140-pound dummy. All right. I hope you didn't miss episode 39 with Warren Carlisle. This guy is darn brilliant. And he's telling you how to build communities which can lead to sales you never even dreamed of. Besides helping all kinds of businesses, he's got one wacky community of his own with 250,000 members. So if you hadn't heard that one, check out episode 39. Our sponsor is Copywriting 901, the fast track to writing words that sell. This is an extremely comprehensive online course pretty much guaranteed to increase your income in more ways than one. I've identified copywriting as the number one business skill I've acquired in over 40 years of business. It's the skill that can bring in the money the fastest. Check it out at copywriting901.com, and we'll have it in the show notes. All right, let's get into saving money with buying apps. One of my overriding principles of becoming wealthy through your business is by keeping your costs extremely low. There are many firms servicing the business community that charge small fortunes for things that should cost sometimes literally 100 times less. You have to get the mindset that without appearing cheap or actually being cheap, that you're going to pay the least amount of money for things you need for your business. Buying the fanciest and most prestigious, well, maybe that might make sense if you're competing in the New York fashion business, but it simply doesn't make sense for regular business people. Now, why doesn't it make sense? Well, because every dollar you save means several dollars you don't have to earn to break even or become profitable. If you overpay for everything, you're making it way more difficult than it needs to be to become profitable and stay in business. Everything from legal structures, accounting, web design, social media, graphics, and all kinds of other things you need for your business can be had at discount rates without sacrificing quality. Most of the things I just mentioned are based on knowledge. The more you know, the cheaper things are. For instance, your business website. You can get a WordPress e-course from me for $97 that includes consultation with my tech people, which allows you to make a world-class website for about $100. Now, you could make a membership site for about $300. Go to a professional firm, you'll pay $5,000 to $10,000. That means you would spend $4,900 to $9,700 more than you should. I mean, that's crazy. Plus, you wouldn't know how to operate it, and you'd have to pay high maintenance fees. I mean, I had one recent company come to me where they spent over $40,000 on their website and $1,500 a month maintenance. And I asked them, for what? I mean, this is a simple WordPress site with no advanced functionality that a fifth grader could maintain. Anyway, get my darn WordPress course and don't get sucked into these big money deals. You can find it at greatinternetmarketing.com/WordPress e-course. greatinternetmarketing.com/WordPress e-course. That'll be in the show notes. All right, well, I'm not really here to talk to you about accounting and website stuff today. I'm here to talk about equipment and physical stuff and how you can save a fortune. The minute I realize I have a need for something, the first place I go is the buying apps. They've saved me really tens of thousands of dollars just in the last couple years. Craigslist is somewhat of the granddaddy of all the local buying sites, but in recent years, there's been an onslaught of others. Now, here's the ones that I use for local purchases: Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, Let Go, and Craigslist. Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, Let Go, and Craigslist. Now, for me to check prices or to find things that I can't find locally, I'll use eBay, Amazon, and Walmart online. eBay, Amazon, and Walmart online. I used to use the trader-type magazines that you could get at 7-Eleven, but they're getting harder to find. Now, they're way more than the ones I use. All you have to do is type into Google best buying apps, and you'll find plenty to pick from, and usually an overview or review of the app by somebody. Now, in these apps, you can set how far away you are willing to travel. For instance, you can set it to only show you items within 5 miles of you. If there aren't any listings for what you're searching for within that 5 miles, most of the apps are going to show you listings anyway, and they put a header on that section that says something like more listings out of your service area, so you can see other listings on the same search. I generally keep a large number of miles listed in my app because I want the maximum responses when I do a search for something. When I start looking at the listings, I glance at the general area map they give you for each item to see if I'm willing to travel to that area for that item. If it's something unique that doesn't have a lot of listings, I might be willing to travel much further. If it's something fairly common, I'll wait to see if I can get a good deal much closer. Also, prices seem to be way cheaper the further away from high population areas you get. See, the sellers there, they know there aren't that many buyers in their area, and buyers from the city don't want to drive too far, so the seller usually lists the things cheaper to try to get people to bite on their listing. Also, keep in mind you can sell or give away items you don't need to turn your junk into cash. There are plenty of people making a living doing just that. I mean, I answered an ad one time for something, and I was told to go to a storage facility nearby. When I got there, a guy had 4 full bays of stuff, and the only way he sold it was by listing on the free buying apps. I mean, he makes a hefty part-time income and only works Saturdays and Sundays. Some people even make a business of getting free stuff off of Craigslist and relisting it for money. I mean, you wouldn't think that would work, but I've even given good stuff away just because I needed the space for some other thing in my garage, let's say. Or one guy can easily fix old washers and dryers, and he gets them for free, fixes them for a few dollars worth of parts, and makes good money on the resale. I think he even gives a 30-day warranty on them. I'm not advocating that you start a salvage business. I want you sitting home or selling on the internet, all right? But I thought it was great that this pretty old retired guy was having a ball with his little side business, and he was running the entire thing from his smartphone and a pickup truck. All right, and I'm going to tell you now just a small fraction of the bargains I've gotten that saved my business tons of money. Let's start with my internet school. This is a roughly 4,000 square foot building with a bunch of offices, a classroom, and a library. I got all the cherry desks and file cabinets for the entire building for $1,500. All right. Each desk would have cost at least $1,500, and I got 5 of them in the deal. I got a bunch of gorgeous cherry file cabinets and a conference table, all for $1,500. There was hardly a scratch on any of it. The guy I got it off of, it was paying $200 a month to store it all, and he was ready to deal. I don't know, maybe I should feel bad about the fact that he went out of business, probably because he bought all the stuff new, and most likely everything in his business was new, causing him enormous debt and cash flow problems that he couldn't overcome. So he quit and dumped all the stuff to try to salvage a little cash. Had he listened to this podcast, maybe he'd still be in business. Another purchase I made for the school came from Craigslist. An insurance company was moving their offices, and I got $850 office chairs for $50 each. They had so many ergonomic controls, we had to shoot a video to show people how to use them. They're still at the school. I got an absolutely gorgeous and perfect $2,400 wall-mounted cherry whiteboard for $100, and the guy couldn't wait to get it out of his garage. Also, for the school, I got safes, lockers, tables, projector screens, bookcases, rugs, garbage cans, and so much more I can't even remember. All were a minimum of 50% off retail with no sales tax, and most were at least 75% off retail. Now, for my brutal self-defense training, you can see that at brutalselfdefense.com. I got a brand new 140-pound grappling dummy. That's what I was telling you. I bought a dummy. It retails for $220 and $100 shipping. I got it for only $50. That's 85% off. I also got all my mats, punching bags, airsoft guns, head protectors, boxing gloves, and all of that kind of stuff for similar prices and good deals. For myself, I bought a super cheap laptop so I could learn Windows 10 without sacrificing the speed and power of my Windows 7 machine that I already know how to run. I've gotten tons of brand new tools and other things that people got for gifts. This cracks me up. I remember this one guy was selling a brand new, not even open, DeWalt drill. I met him at the parking lot of a mall, and I asked him, well, why are you selling this? He said, my wife wants me to fix lots of stuff around the house, so she gave it to me for Christmas. He went on to say, I can barely change a light bulb. There's no way I'm going to try to drill holes in things. I guess he could have stolen it and just given me a story, but he seemed pretty sincere. Anyway, the list of things I bought is in the hundreds of items, which has saved me tens of thousands of dollars. All right, before I get into this too much, I got to talk about safety. We've all heard horror stories about Craigslist deals either going bad or a cheap iPad really was a setup in the first place to lure someone into getting mugged to get their cash. So always take someone with you. Shady characters don't like witnesses. Don't make deals at night or in the bad area of town. As we say in my self-defense class, the bad area of town is called that for a reason. Okay. Meet in highly public places when at all possible. Now, here's something. Many police departments now allow you to meet in their lobby or in their parking lot. So that's a good option. You can call your local police department. Now, use their local number. Don't call 911 about this. And you can also check out safetradestations.com, where a lot of the police departments are listing themselves as a place where you can come. Sometimes, because of the size of an item, you may have to meet at someone's home, office, or a storage facility. Well, that's a great excuse to have one or two people with you to help load the item and give you an extra margin of safety. Now, before I get into pricing and negotiations, let me tell you one thing. The people you are buying from do not know how to write descriptions for their products and services to get the maximum price and easiest sale. That's why you are going to get bargain basement prices on things you buy from them. I've been teaching my students for years how to get the most people to buy at the highest reasonable price. I put everything in a comprehensive course called copywriting901.com, the fast track to writing words that sell. You don't have to be a great writer to write copy that sells. You don't even have to be able to spell that well. You're never going to get an A from your English teacher for your sales copy, but I guarantee that English teacher would trade bank accounts with you when you get good at this. Plus, if you really like writing, you can write copy for others. Sales letters start at around $1,500 and go way up from there. So check out copywriting901.com, and it's in the show notes. All right, let's get into pricing and negotiation. On some things, it's obvious to me that it's a good deal. I may know a lot about the item, and I can make an instant decision if I want it or not. On other things, I research what the item costs new and if it's discontinued, but it still might be a good deal. If it's something like a pressure washer, I'll also see if parts are still available. The first thing I do is put the product in Amazon and see how much it's selling for and if it's Prime, which means I get free shipping. If I can't find it there, I'll try eBay and Walmart online. Now, here's a special tip for checking things out on eBay. Somewhere near the search box, there will be a link titled Advanced or Advanced Search. When you click there, it takes you to a screen where you can search for auctions that have been completed in the last 90 days. In other words, these are all done. These auctions are finished. This is really great. It tells you whether the thing you're considering sold or not, and if so, how much it sold for. It'll also show you if there are tons of these things being sold, which means the prices will generally be lower because the item isn't that unique. The next thing I consider is the time and distance involved to look at the item, and is that really worth it? If it's a common item that's far away, no, the answer is no, I'm not going to go after that. I'll just wait to find one closer. Now, if I need one right away, whatever it is, I might travel further. But usually what I need isn't that urgent. Now, if I determine it's a good deal, then I almost always put in a lower but reasonable offer. If I want it and need it really bad, I might just respond, I'll take it. Most things I don't want that bad, and I'm willing to wait for a better deal or a closer deal. Now, sometimes you're going to see prices firm or seller is only accepting full price offers. Now, if you want it bad enough and it's a good price, go ahead, take it. But there's other options here. Let me give you some other strategies. Another option is to contact the person and be very polite. Say, I know you have a firm price, so I won't insult you with a lower offer. However, if you don't have any luck selling at your price, please contact me. Maybe we can work something out. Here's another option. Again, be very polite and offer a lower price with a reason. This actually goes back to copywriting, the reason why technique. So I bought a walker one time for an older person I know, and I contacted the seller, and I told her that I knew the item was worth more, but the older person couldn't afford more than X amount of dollars. Guess what? I got an immediate response, come get it. Because I gave that reason why. It was for an older person. They couldn't afford that much. Another time I was buying a portable generator. And I said, hey, it's really nice, and I have to have one today, but I only have a budget of whatever it was. Response, come and get it. Okay? Because there's probably hundreds of portable generators out there, and this guy said, I got a hot one, I better take him. Sometimes people say no, or sometimes they come back with a counter offer. You just have to decide how much you want it, or if there are plenty to pick from, you just wait. Sometimes people list stuff for more than it's currently selling for at retail, okay? Again, I'm polite, and I find out where the product is currently selling, so I have proof of the current price. And here's the thing I do. Instead of confronting them about the price, I say this. I just saw on Amazon what looks like the same product for so-and-so amount of dollars. And of course, that's going to be way cheaper than what they're asking for a used one. Am I missing something? Does yours have features that I missed? So I already know one of two things. They either are basing their price on what they paid for the item a while back, or they're looking to find a sucker to buy it used for the same price the person could buy it new and under warranty. The second person won't deal with you. They will hold out to find their sucker. The first person may deal with you. What I do is I commiserate with them. I say, that really sucks. You know, the prices come down on these things like crazy. They really took a nosedive. So let me know if you'll take a certain amount of dollars for it. If not, I'll probably just get a new one off Amazon. So these are all great things that you're not creating conflict, but I can't tell you how many times I've gotten super deals doing this. Now, sometimes you're going to see listings and a person has hundreds of other listings. See, they're doing this as a business. So you may see several things that they have that you could use, and you can usually negotiate a cheaper price if you buy multiple items. All right. Lowball offers. Those are offers way below the asking price of an item. Even when you see a price that says OBO, and that means or best offer, you still might see the ad that says no lowballs or no lowball offers, or they might say, I'm not desperate to sell. I don't really believe in the term lowball offer, but nowadays you kind of have to pay attention to it because people will review you poorly on these buying apps, and then other people will be reluctant to deal with you. I believe what you're willing to pay depends on how badly you want or need the item. What the person is willing to accept has to do with how bad they want or need to sell the item for cash. At any rate, you should not pay more than the item is worth to you, no matter how the seller wants to shame you or mock you as a lowballer. However, like I said, I don't want bad reviews. That's why I'm so polite, and I have a reason I can only pay so much. And the seller usually either ignores me, says no, comes back with a counteroffer, or says yes. Rarely do I get a lecture and a bad review from anybody when you're super polite. What I can tell you is that there have been many times when I could not believe, right, the person immediately accepted the offer, and I got a massive bargain, like the 140-pound grappling dummy. Who knows why? Maybe like the guy with the drill, he got it as a present and just wants rid of it. Maybe the person is desperate to pay their rent or buy groceries. It's not your job to figure out or worry about any of that. It's your job to make the best deal to conserve your own cash, period. Now, you got to be careful of scams. Like someone has an iPad in an unopened sealed box as if it's brand new. Well, it could be an older iPad or no iPad at all, where they have rewrapped the box to look like it's never been opened. See, on electronics, always demand to see the actual items and make sure they work before you hand over the money. Another scam is hidden damage. I was just looking at some garden tillers. Many of them say, just need a carburetor. The carburetor is only $15 on eBay. That's what they're telling me. No thanks. All right. If it was that easy to throw on a carburetor, why didn't you do it and get way more money for the tiller? All right. Certainly what they say could be true, but it could be just as true they bent the engine shaft and it would cost more than a brand new tiller to replace it. You can't even check that out because the tiller conveniently won't start because of the carburetor. See, maybe if you were a small engine expert, this would make sense, but for most of us, don't buy something if you can't see it working. Now, here's a scam if you're selling something. People send you checks for way more than what you ask for, whatever you're selling, and then when you alert them of the mistake, they ask you to send them back the difference with your check. So you mail them the item with your good check for the overage they sent you, their check bounces, and not only have they stolen the item that you sent them your good check with all that cash. If you see something that they're paying more than what it's supposed to be, that's a big scam. Now, another thing I want to remind you of is just about everything under the sun is advertised on these buying apps, other than firearms and booze and dangerous things. I got stuff for my hunting trailer. I got a super great kitchen slicer for $5 at an estate sale. I found the sale on the buying apps. I got a life vest for my dog and dog toys and crates. I got curtains, lamps, artwork, costumes, and pretty much anything you can think of. I got a park bench for free that I'm refinishing just as a hobby. I got all kinds of used lumber free, firewood. Let's see, I'm going to give you a picture of this in the show notes. I got all the bricks for a raised bed for my front yard, a garden bed. I'm going to put a picture of that in the show notes for you. So unless it needs to be brand new, check your apps first. All right, so I got a few miscellaneous tips before we wrap it up here. Having a pickup truck helps tremendously. If you don't have one, you can rent one from Home Depot. I'm not sure if they require you to purchase something from them or not to rent their truck, but other rental places have vans and pickups for rent. They're just a little harder to find. You always got U-Haul and Ryder kinds of places to rent trucks. Now, I'm trying to remember, I think for all the chairs we got for the school, those $850 chairs, I think there was like 50 of them, we rented a Ryder truck and still saved thousands of dollars overall. Another tip is be a good communicator. I respond quickly, and I hate it when the other person sends a message. I respond immediately, and the next day or 2 days later, I respond again. I hate that. And when you pick something out, move fast when you really want something. Whenever possible, I usually tell the seller, I can leave in 5 minutes, and I'll let you know on the GPS what time I'll be there. See, too many things can go wrong if you wait. When the deal falls through or they sell it to someone else, then I got to waste time looking for another deal. All right, well, there you have it. You can save many thousands of dollars buying used things locally. And this has been episode 40. Check out everything, including the picture of my raised bed in the show notes. And remember to check out copywriting901.com if you want to skyrocket the sales of your products and services. And upcoming is episode 41, where a 75-year-old guy who saved my life has enough gold medals that if you melted them down would finance a small country. Hey, don't miss episode 41. All right, everybody, I'll catch you next time.